on, guys? What's going on, guys? What's going on, Basement Dweller? Guys, I'm up here in Forest Lake visiting the video game store in the far north. Where is the laser? I want the laser. This sucks. Can't stop that stuff. You gotta punch it. Yeah. What's up, guys? I think today I'm gonna do something random out of the collection. Infiltrator. Well, never heard of it, never played it. Let's give it a shot. Wow, that's some rockin' music. Oh, weird. You have an option where you want to start the game. I can either begin the flying mission or start at the enemy base. Well, I want to give you the full game, so no shortcuts. I'm starting from the beginning. At the Infiltrator's home weapons lab dinner theater. What? Yet another urgent message arrives. Jimbo baby, we need your help at once. The mad leader is on the loose again. Penetrate his chemical labs and neutralize a vat of deadly nerve gas. Good luck. The mad leader is on the loose again. Should I know who the mad leader is? I feel like I'm being dropped in a movie that's already an hour in session. I did a little digging and found out that's actually not far from the truth. Infiltrator on the NES is actually a port of Infiltrator 2 for the Commodore 64. Since there was never an Infiltrator 1 on the NES, the sequel just became Infiltrator. Not like it really matters, it's not the hardest story to follow. You good guy, bad guy doing bad things, stop bad guy. And could they have come up with a more creative name for the villain than Mad Leader? That's like calling Bowser Bad Dragon or Ganon Naughty Pig. Meanwhile, at the not-so-pleasant headquarters of the Mad Leader. What the hell is that? That's the Mad Leader? He looks like the Hulk if he was a Mexican wrestler. You can't stop me this time, McGibbets. And that's it. Clearly that was worth the cutaway scene. Back at home base, Jimbo Baby's Okay, let me get this straight. The hero's name is Jimbo Baby McGibbets, and I'm on a mission to stop the Mad Leader by using my ultra-sophisticated Gizmo DHX3 attack chopper. This sounds like the programmer just took one of his kids' stories and made a game out of it. And here we are in the cockpit of the Gizmo DHX3 attack chopper. Okay, I can move my hands around, but how do I start the chopper? Oh, by pressing start. It's actually the first thing to make sense. Impressive landing? I didn't even get off the ground. Alright, let's try this again. And hey, we have liftoff. What's all this stuff? Oh, cool. I can actually talk to the other planes? Okay, did I communicate with that other plane? Nope, he's firing on me, and I don't seem to be able to do any maneuvers to evade his missiles. Oh, okay, there we go. I got one, but I'm hit. I'm going down. All right, one more try. Okay, clearly I'm doing something wrong. So I'm gonna have to check in the instructions here to figure out what I'm doing. According to the Admiral on GameFAQs, here's what all the gauges are for. The top panel of the helicopter dashboard has a series of 6 lights that signal any critical warnings or malfunctions. Green lights indicate that everything is working normally. Orange lights indicate that a problem should be addressed immediately. The warning lights are as follows. The E is for engine damage. Engine damage means your ability to fly and control the helicopter accurately have become impaired. B is for the battery. The battery can become overheated if you fly too fast. The battery will begin to overheat once you exceed 400 knots per hour. O is for oil. Oil can overheat if you use the turbo engines or whisper mode for too long. If you allow oil to stay overheated, it will result in permanent engine damage. You should quickly turn off the turbo engines or whisper mode once you see this warning. F is for fuel. Fuel is expanded over time once you start the engines and leave the ground. Fuel is expended at a constant rate regardless of speed or altitude. Once you run out of fuel, you will begin to experience engine damage. A is for altitude. You will receive a warning if you are descending and your altitude drops below 250 feet. R is for RPM problem. The helicopter needs 2,340 rotations per minute to maintain altitude. This indicator signifies a problem with the number of RPMs. To the left of these lights is the battery gauge. Once you exceed 400 knots per hour, this gauge will begin moving to the right as the battery slowly heats up. To the right side is the oil temperature gauge. Oil temperature will rise rapidly when in whisper mode or using the turbo engines. Excessive oil heat will trigger the warning light and eventually result in permanent engine damage. Over to the far right near the side of the cockpit is the fuel gauge. A red needle indicates your remaining fuel. Fuel will decrease at a constant rate once you start the engines and take off. You're not given much more than the minimum fuel requirement to reach your destination, so it's important to stay on course. Terrific. And if that wasn't enough, there's 8 letters in the center of the console here. M for missiles, G for guns, C for chaff. Chaff is a bundle of metal strips that can be released to fool radar-guided missiles. F is for flares. Flares can be fired from the gizmo to create a false heat image and throw off heat-seeking missiles. R is for radio. The radio is a transceiver that can be used to communicate with other aircraft. S is for status. The status screen shows various pieces of information about the gizmo, including any damage to the equipment. T is for turbo engines. Turbo engines double your current speed. The benefit of that is so you can reach your destination faster and conserve fuel. W is for whisper mode. Whisper mode muffles the sound of the helicopter's blades and allows you to fly and land silently. Oh, but wait! That's not enough! There's more! At the top left side of your dashboard is your speed indicator. Your maximum speed is 450 knots per hour. You will experience severe battery strain if you exceed 400 knots per hour, so keep your average speed below this. On the bottom left is the RPM indicator. Once you start the engines, it revs up to 2340 RPMs and never changes. ADF, the automatic direction finder. That's the top center gauge with the airplane icon in the middle. You basically just need to follow the direction it's pointing. If the ADF is pointing up, you're headed in the correct direction. If it's pointing left, you should turn left until it points up. Next to that is the artificial horizon. This line signifies whether you're tilted and if you need to ascend or descend. Next to that is the altimeter. The altimeter gauge is on the top right and it displays your height in feet. And finally, on the bottom right is the compass. It displays your direction in degrees. The line on the gauge will also point in the direction you are headed. The gauge should be monitored as you fly to make sure you're not drifting. You think that's enough stuff to keep track of? I feel like I'm qualified to fly a helicopter, at least a helicopter that's piloted by an NES controller. Who wants to do all of this in an action game? If this were a flight simulator, I could understand. But this is an action game. I want to take off and start shooting down planes, not check every bell and whistle while I'm being bombarded by the henchmen of the Mad Leader. You know what game I wish I was playing? Top Gun. Sure, it has its share of problems. It has only 4 missions and they're hard as hell, but at least I can feel I can just put the game in and play. And in Top Gun, I feel like I'm actually flying. In this game, the background never moves in any direction besides left and right. In Top Gun, they have animated clouds that move past you that give the feeling of fast acceleration and flight. You might not think it would make much of a difference, but let's see them side by side. See that? Night and day. Once you get to the enemy base, it's like you're playing a completely different game. You start by your helicopter and have a series of directions you can go. Or not. Okay, I guess I'll go this way. Well, that's one way to put it. Once you locate the enemy base, there's a series of buildings you can enter. This looks as good as any. The buildings are split up into a series of rooms that you're free to explore as you see fit. They all look relatively similar. Most of your time is spent searching room to room for helpful items like candy wrappers, caviar cans, useless files, and photos of Elvis? What? If you're caught by the enemy, you lose a life and have to start over from your helicopter. You could avoid doing this by walking up to the enemy and letting out a big old brown fart cloud that causes him to pass out. Actually, it's a sleeping gas, which is one of your weapons you can choose from. The sleeping gas is very temporary. If you remain in a room for too long, the enemy will get back up and come for you. Your best bet is to knock him out and gather what you need quickly and move on to the next room. Hey, I found an alarm card. Now this will come in handy. I'll just put it in here with all of my candy wrappers and pictures of Elvis. You need to hurry because you're on a timer. I'm not sure what happens when the timer reaches 0, but it can't be good. I think I'm gonna go check out one of these other buildings. Jimbo never learned how to swim? What kind of crappy action hero is that? You would think that someone who's known as the Infiltrator, who by himself takes on hordes of henchmen behind enemy lines, would know how to swim. Let's see Mission 2. We need to rescue Dr. Phineas Gump from the fiendish enemy prison camp. You must also get rid of his invisibility pill. I think I've seen better plot lines in an Uwe Boll movie. It's the same mission. It's literally the same flying mission as the first. The destination's in a different place. But look at this. Look at this screen and tell me that it matters where the destination lies. It's the same mission. Oh crap, oh crap. I'm stuck, Stop searching, stop. You can't stop searching if a guard comes into the room. You're basically defenseless. Jimbo has to be one of the crappiest infiltrators I've ever seen. This is like if you played Metal Gear with the guy from Impossible Mission 2. Oh yeah, we'll get to Impossible Mission 2 at some point. I've never played the original game on Commodore. Maybe it was better with the use of a keyboard. The NES version is complete garbage. The stages all look the same. They are dull, complicated, and uninteresting. This goes for both the flying and enemy-based missions. The learning curve on the flying missions is ridiculous. I've heard from people that once you get the control down and learn how to quickly navigate all the bells and whistles in the cockpit, the flying stages are actually pretty easy. Well, guess what? I'm not going to get this play control down because I'm not going to spend hours playing this game to do it! The bases are almost fun to play. It's nice that you can explore the series of rooms like you would a Legend of Zelda dungeon. But you know why Legend of Zelda dungeons are awesome? Because Link wasn't spending all of his time looking for candy wrappers in Ganon's medicine cabinet. There is little to do other than search every piece of furniture that you come across. When a guard comes in, you knock him out and move on to the next room. More often than not, every room will be like this. Knock guard out, search furniture, knock guard out, search furniture. It is the definition of monotony. Why can't you take out the guards and move stealthily like you do in Metal Gear? Seriously, if this game had the same gameplay as Metal Gear, these base missions would actually be pretty badass. But no, you're like a cat burglar rummaging through people's dressers and desks to collect candy wrappers. It's a cruel joke to go through all that practice in flying your helicopter, only to spend tons of time meticulously searching countless pieces of furniture for random crap. Speaking of random crap, I think I'm going to do another random search for the next game.